Out of all the watches produced every year, none are as popular as a dive watch. They have a mix of history, design, and practicality that makes them the go-to style for a lot of people, even those who never go near water. And I'll be the first to admit I've never gone diving, and the deepest I've taken a watch before is around 8 feet. But that doesn't take away from all that they have to offer. They're incredibly versatile, built to handle tough conditions, and also look great with casual or even formal outfits. That rugged, clean design makes them great daily drivers. I also love their durability. They have great water resistance, scratch-resistant sapphire crystals, and solid cases so they could take a beating. Within the world of dive watches, there are a lot of options available, from super budget-friendly options like the Casio Duro or the go-to SEIKO 5 Sports. But as you dig deeper, the best bang for buck can be found within the microbrand space, and one of my favorites is Zelos. They launched in 2014 and have built up an impressive lineup of great watches like the Artemis, which has a super cool skeletonized design, and the Hellcat, a really stylish three-hander that's a great gata. Go anywhere, do anything. One of their most popular designs, though, is the Hammerhead. A super robust, built like a tank dive watch with all the specs we look for in a great watch at an affordable price tag. Within the Hammerhead collection, there's a handful of options available, including different colors, one with a meteorite dial, and even an option for a bronze case or titanium. Zelos is continuing that evolution and just released some really sweet new versions. One that has an anthracite dial, which is the one we're taking a look at today. But this isn't just a great looking diver. The build quality and materials is top notch. We're talking a titanium construction that's been given a hardened coating, taking it to 1200 HV, so it's a lot more scratch resistant than traditional steel. I love titanium watches because of how lightweight they are, but one drawback can be how easily they could scratch, so it's really nice that Zelos gave it that extra scratch protection. I definitely think using titanium was a smart choice because this watch is quite beefy, so keeping that weight down helps make it wear a lot more comfortably. And kind of like the icing on the cake is the lume-filled crown, allowing the Z logo to shine bright. Although not necessary, it is an awesome visual. This watch has a lot of wrist presence and great attention to details. It is a bit of a larger watch, but definitely well proportioned. The diameter comes in at 44 millimeters, has a thickness of 13 mil, and a total length of 48. I have a 7-inch wrist and think it looks amazing. Even though it's large and in charge, it does wear comfortably and wraps around the wrist perfectly. I think a big reason for that is this 3-link steel bracelet, which has a very useful surprise feature, which we'll get into. The dimensions are not the only factor that makes this watch a total stunner. The anthracite textured dial and use of colors takes the design to the next level. It reminds me a lot of an aventurine dial we've been seeing a lot lately that creates a visual appeal that kind of looks like stars across the dial. It definitely has a bit of that here, but it almost looks more like fancy concrete. I like how Zelos balanced the details out. It's even across the whole dial, has just the right amount of that blinged out look, but nothing over the top or trying too hard to stand out. It has a natural cool factor that I appreciate. And the texture is equally subtle, creating a lot of dimension that helps elevate the watch. The overall layout is a bit minimalist and familiar, following a classic dive watch format. The applied hour markers are framed and filled with tons of lume, but in classic Zelos form, it's more interesting than you'd expect. It uses contrasting BGW9 and C3 to create a two-tone effect. I'm not typically into lume, but I really like this execution. Running around the markers is a white chapter ring that helps blend everything together, and the whole ring is filled with lume. Tying in the orange accenting color scheme are orange hands, specifically the minute and seconds. I think it's just the right amount, and speaking of the hands, I love the design. The slightly chunky shape not only makes reading the time that much easier, but it adds a cool visual pop. There is a date window, and as you can see, it's been placed at the 6 o'clock, my absolute favorite location. The 3 works, though throws off symmetry, and anyone who puts the date window at the 4:30 is just cruel and unusual punishment. The 6 is where it's at, so kudos to Zelos for doing it right. It is important to note they've also color matched the date window, which is an extremely important detail. Imagine this glorious dial having a white date window. Yeah, it would work fine, but it looks better to allow the date to integrate into the dial much better. On top, protecting the dial is a dome sapphire crystal with an inner anti-reflective coating. Having spent a lot of time filming watches, I've really come to appreciate a clear, well-made sapphire crystal because a lot of them don't do that great of a job. Not all sapphire crystals are created equal, but as you can see here, this one does a great job allowing for great legibility. Being that this is a dive watch, we have a rotating timing bezel with 120 clicks. It rotates nicely, lines up perfectly, and the clicking sound is quite satisfying. It's crisp, feels tight in a good way, and also feels like a tool when operating. As far as the bezel design, I love that it's made of ceramic, so it's scratch resistant, and the use of orange and black is just really cool. It's great that it doesn't use the common coin edge we see far too often. Instead, it's very industrial looking, fits the rugged tool watch look, and goes well with the case perfectly, which is another big standout of the watch. It's tough to put in words just how amazing and unique this case is. There are a ton of different angles, 2 different finishing, and a really unique design. The majority of the cushion-shaped case is brushed with a nice satin finish, but there's also a sandblasted finish that creates a fun visual break and separation. The case has a rounded yet squared-off construction that really separates it from other cases, which I think is a big reason why the Hammerhead is one of their most popular models. On the backside is a cool embossed design case back that screws down to help achieve the 300 meters of water resistance. Wearing this watch is an absolute delight, largely because of this steel bracelet. It matches the super durable, robust build that's on the case, and it's not your average steel bracelet. The links have an interesting shape, following the angular design found on the rest of the watch. The links are solid, a bit thick, and fully brushed from tops to sides. It uses screws instead of pins, which I always think is a more premium touch, so it's nice that it's used on this bracelet. And this clasp is pretty epic because it uses a micro-adjustable clasp in a system that I've never really seen before. The way it operates is you press down on the Z logo, allowing you to slide the links forward or backwards in small increments to get the perfect fit. Releasing the Z button, and it locks in place. It's smooth as butter and one of the most interesting ways I've seen a toolless design implemented on a clasp. It's wild that even at this price point you get a feature like this, but that's why we love micro brands. Powering it all is a SEIKO NH35 automatic movement, a go-to for affordable watches. It's reliable, a decent timekeeper, and also allows for hacking and hands winding. This is the first Zelos watch I've been able to get hands-on with, and to say I'm impressed would be a bit of an understatement. This watch is priced at $429, which, if you think about all the specs and build quality, it's one heck of a great price. As much as I'm in love with this anthracite dial, it was a tough choice deciding on which version I went with. Within the Hammerhead collection, there are some amazing options available. The orange dial and bezel is a total banger. It's just the right shade, creating a nice vibrant look, but not too over the top. And for those a bit more daring and interested in more creative, unique watches, the Mosaic MOP dial is an absolute stunner. The play of colors is such a fun, refreshing design. As I mentioned, there's also some bronze case options that look really amazing. Kind of has a bit more of a luxurious look and comes equipped on a black rubber strap to help maintain that tool watch aesthetic. As of now, many of them are sold out, which in one way is a good sign because people like them and buying them, but hopefully they have plans to restock some of the colors. Based on the fact that they have just released new colorways, the Hammerhead lineup is not going anywhere, and I'm all for it. I'm curious what you all think of this Hammerhead 44mm, so do let me know. That's it for today. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.